you very much for that warm welcome. We ought to also welcome the newest Democrat to arrive in the state of Colorado, newest, to my knowledge, Griffin Kerr, who is here as well. Today to thank. I want to thank Julia for her kind and rousing introduction. And for the introduction I got to this world, I want to thank my mom. I want to thank my Aunt Susie and my cousin Melissa, who are also here today. They're both here. My dad couldn't make it. He said it was nothing personal. It's just that he's a Republican. And he asked me. He said, "Now what are you going to be?" He said, "Are you going to be a blue dog Democrat or a yellow dog Democrat?" And I said, "No, Dad, I'm just an underdog Democrat." There are a lot of hard-working volunteers who help put this event together just on the fly. Too many to name here, but I want to thank you for the hard work, the talent, for no reward, financially speaking, that you already invested in this campaign. Thank you, volunteers. This morning, as you may know, I went down to the place I probably spent more time than all but one other spot in Colorado. I went to Pueblo this morning at 10 o'clock, and at that time, I announced my candidacy to represent Colorado in the United States Senate. We started this campaign in the heart of the Democratic Party, right in El Paso County in Colorado Springs. El Paso County has sent a lot of Democrats to the legislature lately. They're on a good trend, actually. 3 folks in the House and the Senate now serve from El Paso County. But I'm glad to be back here where really my political campaign began. 8 years ago, I first ran for the State House. Many of you were with me then. I'm happy to see you here now. I ran then because I wanted to make it possible for every Coloradan to enjoy a solid education and a steady source of health care and a safe place to live and grow up. I think we can do that in the United States of America. It was a little confusing when I first ran because I had the task of succeeding a very popular fellow who's also here, I suspect, tonight, a guy named Ken Gordon. Ken was running for the Senate that year. I was running for the State House, but he told me a story, a true story, I imagine. Most of Ken's stories are true. And he knocked on a door, I guess, at one point during that campaign. And he said, "I'm Ken Gordon." And the woman who answered the door said, "Well, it's very nice to meet you. I'm sorry that you're leaving office. Good luck. Best wishes on your retirement. Goodbye." And Ken said, No. He said, "I'm not leaving public office. I'm just moving from the House. I'm running for the Senate." He said, "Who told you that I was on the way out?" And she said, "Well, that nice Russian boy who this race brings me a little better name recognition. I do want to talk about Russia and about Poland because it's where my family came from. All 4 of my grandparents came to America in the first half of the last century. They came without any money or political connections. They came for the same reason so many people do, to create a better life for themselves and their children. My father's parents opened a little grocery store in Schenectady, New York. They lived above it while my dad was growing up. My mother's parents came to Columbus, Ohio. That's where I grew up. My grandmother Rose worked as a bookkeeper and a secretary and a saleswoman. She also found time to raise money for an organization called Project Hope, which brings medical supplies to Africa and Asia and Latin America. My grandfather Ben was traveling on one of those ships. He was literally one of the first Doctors Without Borders before there was a group by that name. After he moved to Columbus, my grandfather opened a medical practice in the poorest part of town. I remember he carried a big black bag around with him as he made house calls. Sometimes he would even stop folks in the middle of the street to offer a vaccination without any regard to the local health code or the startled looks of the pedestrians who were walking by. A lot of times the people that my grandfather treated couldn't afford to pay him with cash, so they would offer him food instead, or sometimes just their thanks. My grandparents are gone now, but they are the reason that I am here. They're the reason my mom became a social worker. They're the reason I went to work for the Southern Poverty Law Center. They're the reason I went to Central America to teach high school. And they're the reason I first ran for office. I'm running for this office because I want to represent the state we love the best way I know how. There is nobody in this race who has a stronger record of legislative leadership, no one who knows the people of Colorado better, no one better able to bring Democrats and Republicans together. No one that can bring Democrats and Republicans together when we can and draw a line when we have to. The people of this state are not short on conviction. What we need are leaders with the courage to match. Courage means standing up for what you believe, even when somebody might take offense. Courage means taking on tough fights, even when the odds are against you. Courage means pouring everything you have and then a little bit more into a cause greater than yourself. I've come across that courage all throughout Colorado. I've seen it here in this audience today among the veterans who are with us, whose service we honor. These are men and women who have served in war, who have sacrificed loved ones, folks who have stared down illnesses and injuries and live to fight another day. They deserve a candidate who will fight for them too. That's the kind of candidate I will be. That's the kind of United States Senator I will be. I'm very sad to have so many colleagues from the state legislature, past and present and perhaps future, standing with me in this race. I'm proud of the work that we did in 2004 to take a majority in the State House and the State Senate for the first time since Jack Kennedy. And I'm proud of the work that we did to keep those majorities in 2006 and 2008, and if I have anything to say about it, in 2010 as well.